You know what I love? A bit of irony. Especially the kind where the people telling the story don't even realize how ironic it is. Because The Lost King, a film made to clear the name of Richard III, who was famously smeared by Tudor propaganda, just got sued for doing propaganda to a different Richard from Leicester 500 years later. Honestly, at this point, Richard is less of a name and more of a personal liability. You really can't make this stuff up. Except, of course, they did. So here's the backstory. Steve Coogan co-wrote and starred in The Lost King, a film about how amateur historian Philippa Langley found the bones of Richard III under a car park in Leicester. And Philippa's role in that discovery is massive. She pushed, she funded, she believed when others didn't. It's an absolutely incredible film. But in the film's version of events, Richard Taylor, a senior university administrator at the time, got turned into the villain of the piece. And not just like mildly antagonistic. No, 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 no. We're talking suited, smug, and sexist, full or panto villain. And he sued for defamation and won. Because here's the thing, he wasn't like that. Not even close. The court agreed that the portrayal caused serious harm to his professional and personal reputation. Coogan and the production company settled, paid damages, and issued a clarification. The film will now carry a message saying the depiction of Taylor was fictional and that he acted with integrity, which, to be honest, is more than the Tudors ever gave their Richard. Now, let's just sit in this for a second. A film about clearing a man's name from historical slander committed historical slander again to another man, also named Richard, 500 years apart.
Why are you the way that you are?
Both reshaped to make the story easier to sell. I mean, what are the odds? It's giving cursed name, it's giving Richard as cautionary tale. At this point, we might need a national strategy for protecting people called Richard from media slander. But I kind of get it. Because stories need drama, tension, a clear arc. But at some point, when did historical storytelling stop being about the truth and start being about dishonest drama for the sake of selling the story? Because real history isn't clean, it's layered, it's nuanced, it's sometimes annoyingly bureaucratic, and sometimes the man in a grey suit pushing the paperwork isn't the enemy. He's just the one making sure that the lights stay on and the dig gets approved. We are in such a rush these days to rewrite the past to fit modern aesthetics. Like everything must be emotionally sellable, even if it's factually nonsense.
2002 was a simpler time.
Taylor might not have been a plucky underdog or a sexy academic hero, but he wasn't a villain. He was a professional who helped fund, coordinate, and support a complex historical dig and got turned into the narrative emotional punching bag because, well, that's where the drama needed to go. And this happens so often. Anne Boleyn gets recast as political symbol. Henry VIII becomes a lovable rogue, and sometimes it's race swapping, sometimes it's character assassination, sometimes it's just pure PR. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Henry VIII gets recast as a polyamorous pansexual. Because when we fictionalize history too hard, we don't just rewrite the past, we disrespect the people who actually lived it. And look, if something claims to reflect Britain, whether it's set in the present or the past, then it should at least try to do that truthfully. That means that adverts should reflect the country as it is now, and historical dramas should reflect the country as it was. Because Anne Boleyn wasn't an idea, she wasn't a metaphor. She was a very real woman born into a very specific world at a very specific time. And she deserves to be portrayed as herself, not as a projection of someone else's politics or fancy. In the same way we expect a sausage roll to look like a sausage roll, not be repackaged as the face of a national identity crisis. At this point, everyone from medieval queens to Greg pastries is being asked to carry the emotional weight of modern identity politics, whether they volunteered or not. And that's the problem. When you start rewriting the facts to make them more representative, what you're actually doing is replacing reality with imaginative thinking.
It's over. It's just a memory.
So maybe the lesson here isn't that Richard Taylor was perfect, or that Coogan's film was evil, but that even side characters deserve truth and proper context, even the ones in suits, even the ones who write the funding applications. Because history isn't just shaped by queens and kings, it's also shaped by the guy who says yes to a dig in a Leicester car park. And if we can't tell his story without fictionalizing him into the villain, then maybe we're not making history come to life. We're just making propaganda.
Lies and smears and slander.
And all of this is giving based on true events in the same way The Crown is based on family tension. Because history isn't supposed to be a fantasy, it's a memory. And if we keep bending it until it no longer reflects the events, we shouldn't be surprised when the audience drops off and stops trusting that based on true events has any credibility.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
So next time we try to restore a king's honour, let's please not trample another man's in the process. Especially if he's called Richard. They've been through enough. So please, tell me the worst historical rewrite you've ever seen. Film, TV, textbook, I don't mind. And please also have a think about liking and subscribing. It really does help me out. Thanks.